Guys, before I begin this video, please remember to subscribe to our channel for more quality Jujutsu Kaisen content. Now on with the video. Toji made his grand return in the Shibuya Incident arc at the end of chapter 109, where he dominated and killed the special grade cursed Dagon with relative ease. He then meets his son and ends up fighting him in the next few chapters, but he doesn't realize that he's fighting his son Meg. Once he does end up realizing he's fighting him, he then proceeds to kill himself, stabbing himself in the head by the end of chapter 113. And who do we see in the next chapter causing absolute chaos? None other than our favorite Demon King Sukuna in chapter 114. These two legendary characters could have easily have met one another, even if it's for a small glimpse. But what if they did? What would have happened? This is more of an open question to all of us fans. What if Sukuna and Toji have met in the Shibuya Incident arc? The fact that Toji died and in the very next chapter you had Sukuna dominating Jogo, that is not a coincidence. Ukutami 100% did that on purpose, just to tease us fans what we could have had. Especially in the previous arcs where we see Toji defeat both Gojo and Geto, and in this arc, he killed Dagon, who is the same level as Jogo, the special grade curse that Sukuna was currently dominating. If these two characters did end up meeting, that would have been a massive dream fight for this series. Ukutami kept the big three characters separate in this arc. He sealed away Gojo in the first half of the arc, whilst he released Sukuna in the second half of the arc. But he had Toji make a quick cameo right in the middle of the arc, after Gojo got sealed away, but just before Sukuna made his grand entrance. Akutami, why man? We could have had a mouth-watering triple threat between Toji, Gojo and Sukuna, but it is what it is. Now if Toji didn't end up fighting Megumi, he probably wouldn't have killed himself. It was only because he was fighting Megumi that was the reason why he did it. But before that, he was just an absolute monster, craving the carnage and unleashing absolute chaos. Now, what I just said could also be applied to Sukuna as well, as Sukuna was also killing thousands in Shibuya just to torture Yuji's soul even more, as well as defeating the undefeatable Mahoraga in this arc. He was craving blood and was just in the mood for violence, which means if both of these characters were to have met each other, it definitely would have been a massive fight happening between these two. Can't see them both sitting around talking to each other. I think they both will go at it from the get-go, but I feel Sukuna will see the physical might of Toji and will be interested in trying to get him under his wing. Sukuna is all about respect. If he respects you, then he will acknowledge you. Look at Yuji. He doesn't actually hate Yuji, it's just he doesn't have any respect for him. Look at chapter 106. After Yuji loses to Chozo, Sukuna is there mocking Yuji, saying how worthless he is and questioning him how he can lose to such an inferior opponent. But with Toji, I feel he would respect him enough to try and have him be one of his underlings. But that's the thing, Toji is just a monster at this point. And if he's not getting paid, he won't be doing any business with you. He's a mercenary. That's what he is and what he will always be. So they will clash, and probably at the beginning of the fight, Sukuna will realize early on that Toji is not a normal human being, just like how he clocked on in episode 2 when he fought Gojo and realized that Gojo wasn't using his speed, instead he was using something else, his infinity. Sukuna is a genius fighter and is so aware on what's happening around him. That's why I think he will try and recruit Toji, but then Toji will decline Sukuna, as he is a free spirit type of character. He likes being his own boss, let's just say. I mean, he used all the money from the Star Religious Group to put a bounty on Riko's head, even though his boss didn't like him doing that. Toji will do whatever he wants to do. That's why I feel he will decline any offer Sukuna gives him. This will naturally piss off Sukuna, and the fact that Toji is a mere human, that will anger Sukuna even more. How can a human reject the King of Curses? And sad to say this, as much as I love Toji, I don't think he stands a chance against Sukuna. If Toji gets close to Sukuna, I think he can give Sukuna a tough hand-to-hand fight, but the problem here is that Toji doesn't have the special grade curse tool, the inverted Spear of Heaven, which forcefully stops the use of curse techniques. That would have helped him in this fight against Sukuna, but even with that, I would still say Sukuna defeats him, because this isn't 3 fingers or even 8 fingers Sukuna. This is a 15-fingered Sukuna and only 5 fingers away from full power. I think the sheer destructive power of Sukuna's domain expansion with Cleave and Dismantle, even though Toji is really fast, I can't see him dodging those attacks forever. Along with Sukuna's fire attacks, it's too destructive for Toji to handle. If the fight goes hand to hand, then I feel Toji has a better chance as he is a physical beast. who we have seen dominate Gojo, Dagon, Geto, and Megumi in a physical fight without involving curse techniques. Even Yuji landed a punch on Sukuna, so you can imagine what a freak of nature like Toji can do against Sukuna if it's a straight up fist fight. Sukuna could potentially get baited into fighting Toji into a fist fight just to test himself, as we have seen before Sukuna mess around with his opponents before finishing them off. Like, look at episode 4 of season 1 where Sukuna was fighting against the cursed womb spirit. He was messing around there as well and even just left the fight before fully killing him off. Can see Sukuna maybe taking a gamble and getting too cocky to try and fight him in an old-fashioned fist fight. But I feel if he does do that and sees what a physical beast Toji is, he will then have to use his curse techniques to kill off Toji once and for all. I don't know, so much could have happened if these two characters have met. I'm just trying to paint a realistic picture in my head to you guys on what I think would have happened if these two characters have met. But let me go to you guys now. What do you think would have happened if these two characters have met? And who do you think would win in a fight if they had fought? Let me know in the comments down below. And again, don't forget to subscribe to the Shaman Tribe.